Hey guys,
Tama.
let's start.
Well, if not, then we're gonna trickle in and trickle in and trickle in. So,
Kasi yun.
Journal's taking notes?
Oh, no.
Just in case, you know,
She's taking it serious.
Sir, baka mamaya na kasi may meeting kami. Yung parachuting. Yeah. Tinitingnan ako ni Bill. Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. The HPD Bundiwason training about active shooter, and so we're lucky to have them here today. So here they are.
Janice, you're in the camera.
Oh, you're taking video.
I'm Officer Larissa. I'm with the District 8 CPT. This is Officer Corey, Corporal Corey, and then Corporal Roland. So we work out of the Kapolei Police Station. So today we're just gonna go over. This is basically a presentation to help you guys get more familiar or formulate a plan in terms of what you would do in an active shooter or active threat situation. And yeah, so the three points or the three things we're gonna go over is avoid, deny, defend. These are the three options that you are most likely going to be presented with when you face that situation. Hopefully it never happens, but if it does. And then, so I just got to read this disclaimer. So basically, this program was created by the Texas State University, and it's maintained by employees of the Honolulu Police Department. The information contained in this program has been compiled from a number of sources and is subject to change without notice. We have attempted to provide current and accurate information, but inadvertent errors may appear in this program. So basically, this was developed by Texas State University, and then we put the presentation and it's approved by HPD, essentially. Okay, so disaster response. So the background science of how people behave in high stress situations. So the three stages of disaster response would be denial. So people don't want to admit that there's a disaster or underestimate the severity of the disaster. So basically, in a stressful situation like an active shooter, your coworkers, all of you guys, even though you work together, you guys all may have different responses to the same situation. So deliberation. So they understand something bad is going to happen, and now they have to decide what to do. And then decision or decisive moment. So once a decision is made, it's time to act. So act with purpose.
Walmart.
See a low price at least.
We know where you shop, you gotta say the video.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's okay, you got it on the computer, I think you have it, so.
Oh, you want to just play? So this is just going to be a video of like an active shooter situation, and then you guys are going to see the different things that people are doing based on wherever they are when the active shooter starts to shoot up the place. Oh, and it's maybe going to be fine.
There's a gun inside the store. We need help now.
What's going to be the solution by the time we...
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Actually, thank you, he's got an old, let's have a truck, what if your daughter would be interested?
My stress is by watching.
No,
Well, I think
that's
it's-
supposed to be- supposed to be- we have, because we have, given it
There's a gunman inside the store. He's shooting the place up. We need help now.
Issues that were found. See what's going on. Just let us know what
Gonna get stuck in this. What's going on?
Thank you. There you go. Let me take you a second for that. This guy in the gun shooting. Look, James, when I... No, look! Run! 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 To the right! To the right! To the loading dock! Come on, this way! This way! This way! Oh, no, come here! Yeah, in here! In here! The gunman's coming. We're gonna have to defend ourselves. You're gonna see your daughter tonight, okay? We are all going to go home tonight. All right? We have a right to defend ourselves. Get the gun! Get the gun! Ah! Hold him down, hold him down! Yes, yeah, we're all good. Everybody's going home.
I don't think you're smiling like
If you ever have the misfortune to be in an active shooter event, you deserve to survive. In our research, we have found that the actions that potential victims take during these events are critical to their survival. We have identified 3 options that have proven effective in many events. These are: avoid the attacker, deny the attacker access to your area, defend yourself. It is a personal decision, but you have a right to do so. Avoiding the attacker starts with being aware of your surroundings at all times and knowing what is going on around you. If you see or hear something that looks suspicious, take action. For example, the stalker took immediate and effective action to protect himself when he observed the shooter pulling out weapons from the bag. Others, however, hesitated, and this hesitation can cost them valuable time that they could have used to get away from the threat. If you hear something that is, or could be, gunfire, start trying to get away from it as soon as possible. Gunfire has a distinctive sound. Inside of buildings, the sound can be muffled or distorted. A single loud bang could be a person dropping something, or even thunder. But repeated loud bangs are much more likely to be gunfire. Additionally, look at the reaction of others. Are they startled or scared? Are they running? What are they saying? Any one of these events individually may create denial, but when put together, should create a heightened awareness and stimulate an immediate response. It is important that you know how to get out. The situation will be chaotic and rapidly changing. In general, you will want to go to the nearest exit. But you must also understand that the closest exit may not be accessible or safe to use. If this is the case, go to a different exit. While avoiding the threat, consider the uses of cover and concealment. Cover offers protection from gunfire, while concealment minimizes your exposure to the attacker. Try to keep objects between you and the attacker. If you can't avoid the attacker, sometimes the best option will be to deny the attacker access to your location. In many locations, this can be accomplished by closing and locking a door, such as they did in the meeting room. Locking the door has proven effective in many attacks. If the door does not have a lock, you can place heavy objects in front of it. Remember, barricades work best if the door opens toward you. If it doesn't, use things that are readily available, such as straps, belts, or objects that can be used to block or secure the door to make it difficult for the attacker to enter the room. This may at least slow the attacker down and give you time to identify alternate means of escape, such as adjoining rooms or windows. When attempting to deny access to your location, you want to make it appear that there is no one in your area. Lock doors, turn off the lights, silence your phones, and get out of sight. Your attempt to deny the attacker access to your location might fail.
The gunman's coming. What are we gonna do? We're gonna have to defend ourselves.
Have a backup plan about what you will do. In many cases, this may be to defend yourself. You need to be in a place where you can act if the attacker comes into your location. In most rooms, you will line up against the same wall that the door is on, near the door so you can react, but not directly in front of it. If you are unable to avoid or deny, your best option may be to defend yourself by using whatever is available. In a situation where someone is attempting to kill you, you have the legal right to defend yourself. Attack weak spots such as eyes, throat, and groin. Fight to the best of your ability and do not quit until the attacker is stopped. This is what the workers in the warehouse did when they were unable to avoid the attacker and felt their lives were in immediate danger. Whatever option you choose, call 911 as soon as you are in a safe location. Provide any information that you know. The operator will ask you a lot of questions. If you don't know the answer, don't guess. Just say you don't know and only state the facts. This will be a complex situation, and we can't tell you what you should do in every case. What we can do is provide you with information about the options that we have found to be most effective for surviving these attacks. The ultimate choice is yours. What you do matters. Avoid the attacker. Deny access to your location. Defend yourself. Law enforcement will be entering a chaotic scene with limited information. Their first priority will be to stop the threat to your safety. The police may not know where or who the threat is. Listen and comply with their commands immediately.
Put it down, sir. Put it down. Both of you on the ground.
Police are trained to look at people's hands to assess threats. Do not have anything in your hands that could be perceived as a weapon, such as a cell phone.
Show me your hands, sir. Show me your hands. Move to us. Everybody, keep your hands up, please. Walk out the door.
If told to do so, stay where you are and do not make sudden movements. Again, follow all commands. Remember, what you do matters. Avoid the attacker. Deny access to your location. Defend yourself. Remember, ADD. You can survive.
Okay, so we're just gonna go over, it kind of went into it, but, so this one, if you guys saw, this would be an example of which one of those, the avoid, deny, or defend. What is avoid? Okay, so avoid, right? So if you guys are able to get out, then of course you guys get out, right? If you're not able to get out, this one, do you guys remember this scene? where they're all in the room. So what is an example, or what is this an example of? Deny. So how do they deny? Yeah, how do they deny it in this
Lock the lights off.
Okay. So in this situation, how do you think, is there like a different way you would do it? I don't know if you can see it, but this is the girl that they first sent out, right? And then, can you guys see this?
Yeah.
But there's this guy over here with the computer, right? Is there a different way that you guys would maybe set this up? If you guys had to.
Yeah, behind him in the front.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was hoping to say. So basically, this one, you would want the person who actually saw the shooter to kind of be more so in the back, because they would be the one talking to the dispatcher, telling them what the person looked like, giving as much information as they could. And then you would want this person with that's basically the only weapon they had. I mean, they had chairs and whatever, but he had the computer, right? So if the shooter did end up getting into the room, that would be like their weapon that they would use to try and stop him. So the deny part, it's gonna be, so basically an active shooter, they wanna cause as much damage as they can with the amount of time that they have before police or like emergency response gets there. So the deny just allows time for the police to come, but it also, in this situation, it'd be less likely that they're gonna try and get into that room unless they're after like a specific person. But if it's just an active shooter, they're gonna wanna hurt as many people as they can before they're stopped. So most likely they would just move on like you saw in the video. Okay. Oh, yeah, now you can see it. It's that guy that you want in front. Okay, so if you cannot avoid the shooter and you're not somewhere where you can deny access, like a closed room, if you guys are like, I don't know, out in the courtyard or something, the last one would be, of course, defend. So in this situation, you saw how there was like these three people, all in the same situation, but all reacted differently to that, right? So the lady was kind of freaking out, and then you saw the one guy that took control of the situation, right? So you guys are probably gonna have that amongst your guys' coworkers. So basically, if you're the person that is taking control, like this guy did, you guys have to kind of formulate a plan, right? And if that person doesn't want to do it, then, I mean, of course, you can't force them, because that's just their natural response to it. And then, what is that? They grab like a screwdriver or whatever that tool is, or some kind of tool. So basically, use whatever you can, right? Because at that point, you're basically fighting for your life. So you guys can use whatever. I mean, a friggin' chair, the table. You can throw hands. I mean, I don't know, but you're fighting for your life, right? So anything goes. So, but after that, you guys, if you guys saw this part, once they took the gun away from him, right? They stopped, right? They didn't keep trying to like punch him, kick him, all of that stuff, right? So there's a difference between stopping the person from, like stopping them throughout your guys' selves, and then also if you guys go too far, right? So once they are already unarmed, do you guys think it'd be like justifiable for you to still beat the crap out of him? Probably not, right? I mean, you maybe would want to, but it wouldn't be, we wouldn't want you guys to do that, and that's not what we can train or tell you guys to do. So
That's what you asked for. They'll try to stay quiet right now.
yeah, so basically, what you guys also have to remember too, if you guys are not familiar or comfortable with a firearm, if you've never had one, it would be best just to move it on the side, not to try and, if you do know how to and you're familiar with it, to like unload it and all of that stuff, but most people are not unless you go hunting or whatever it is, right? And also be aware that when the police are coming to the scene, we're looking for someone with a gun, right? Because that's our call, right? We got called to an active shooter. So if you disarm this person, but you're holding the gun, maybe you're holding it to the person, right? And then we're coming on scene, we look at that as maybe you're the active shooter, right? So you can, of course, you have to, of course, follow the directions of the police officer that is coming. And yeah, so basically, you guys are just gonna want to tell them, oh, that's the shooter. I just took the gun away from him, and then tell them verbally like what you're gonna do, right? I'm probably give you verbal commands too. But also, so just be aware too, like in those situations, the officers in this that were depicted were honestly talking super nice, like, sir, can you please put that down, right? But we all know, like, in a stressful situation, please and thank you, and can you please do that is not really gonna fly, right? It's obviously a stressful situation. So they might use, like, maybe some colorful language, right? But don't be offended. Well, we hope you guys wouldn't be offended. Just realize we're just trying to do our job, right? So that's what our main job when we first get onto the scene is to stop the killing and to neutralize the threat, basically, right? So, unfortunately, if you guys are injured, if there's people bleeding out, we're gonna step over them. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep going until we find the person, right? And we're probably not gonna stop to clear everything. We don't know if there's 1, 2, 3 shooters, right? So, you guys, obviously, you guys are all medical professionals. Yeah. No, okay. Well, if you guys are, then of course you guys can help each other with first aid. If you're not, then maybe get to know some basic first aid. Yeah. Okay. So like in this one, you guys saw he kind of. So like, you know when the fire alarm goes off, everyone just still stays in there because it goes off all the time. Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, it happens at our stuff too, but just be aware that
That's very true though.
you guys gotta
Yeah.
kind of be cognizant of your surroundings, right? And then, like they said, you guys are gonna know that it's the difference between gunfire and like something dropping or like a thunderstorm, because it's gonna have like it's called a cadence. So basically, it's gonna be every time someone shoots, they have like a rhythm, right? So it's not gonna be just one shot, and then that's it, right? Because then you guys know that's like probably fireworks or whatever else it is. So you guys just have to be aware, and if it seems suspicious or if you guys are uneasy about it, then of course you guys can always call 911 and just have someone come and check. Because it's better to be safe, right, than have it be nothing than not call or think someone else is calling and then no one called and it's actually something.
Okay, so towards the tail end of the clip, so police is on scene, we show up, they're still in that, defend mode, right? So it's important whenever the police is giving commands, we're listening, we're following every direction, just so there's no confusion or we take any action that, as hostile. So just make sure we're following the officer's commands when we show up. So just to review the key points. So when we're talking about avoid, like we mentioned, if you have an opportunity to get out of the area, you want to, of course, leave as soon as possible. So just with your guys' facility, I would, if you guys aren't already, like, be familiar with all the exits that you guys can access if you're at a specific portion of the property. Yeah. And if you are able to get out of the area, of course, call 911 and provide all the information that you do have. If you don't have any information, don't guess or speculate or anything like that. So other than just the main exit, is there like multiple stories in this facility? No, it's just one story. So if you happen to be like stuck in one of the rooms or whatever, I'm sure I don't want to assume, but rooms have windows and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if if a main exit is not there, of course a secondary exit would be like out the windows. Especially it's optimal because you guys are all on the first floor, so it's not like you need to tumble out of the second story like this guy. Yeah. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? If you're trying to get out of the area, the drop's not too far over here, so not too bad. So when we're at the denied portion, of course, the steps that we took, of course, lock the door, turn off the lights, and stay out of sight. Yeah, so barricading the door, like how they're stacking all the chairs, use whatever we can to barricade the doors. Heavier the object, the better, because if we're putting just light objects against the door, someone can just toss that door open very easily, right? So door stops can be good in a situation. Can anyone think of a situation where a door stop wouldn't be as good?
the door goes this
Right,
way.
so typically doors, you know, there's inward swinging, there's outward swinging. So if you put a doorstop on a inward swinging door, it's kind of putting you right, because it's not gonna do anything. So the inward swinging doors, that's where we wanna, that's the best part to, or the best option would be to stack the heavy items on, against the door on the inward swing. Now if it's an outward swinging, we still wanna stack items because it just adds an extra barrier. You know, if the gunman does decide to try and enter that room, it's just more obstacles that they gotta go through. May put them in a position of disadvantage where if they have to clear some objects, maybe they, you know, they put the firearm in a position where maybe you guys can grab it to try and take it away from them or something like that, yeah. Also denying, so if you guys saw the clip, how he's basically using a belt to secure the door. So that would be for like the outward swinging doors, right? I know some of the doors have that like hydraulic bar at the top, so you saw in the clip where they tied the belt around that thing, because when the doors open, those things open up too, right? So if you can cinch those things shut, it's a harder time to open those doors as well, yeah. And so when we're at the stage of defending, positioning, so in the clip we saw them position against the wall right along the door, right? So the reason for that is as soon as that person crosses that door threshold, that's, you know, your optimal chance to get a hold of that gun. So a lot of the guns too, if you're able to grab like the top of like our duty like Glocks, so when you fire a bullet, the slide up top, you know, what is it, slides, for lack of a better word. But if you hold that slide and it's not able to move, the gun won't shoot. So also with ARs, if you can grab you guys know what AR is? The rifle?
Like a
long gun, shotgun, any of those longer. Okay.
Or like, do you guys have kids that play like those video games?
Call of Duty, Fortnite, so those type of longer guns, the guns with the longer barrels, you know, it's more tactical looking. If you can get a hold of that, you can control, because the bullet's only going to come out of the barrel, right? It's not going to go anywhere. So if you can control where that barrel is pointing, you can, you know, point it away from yourself or anyone else in the room. Also, another important thing about positioning too, the reason why we want to be, you know, close, because once you're at the point of defending, if you're like, say they're coming in through that door or this door right here, you know, we want to be against the thresh or the plane of where the door is. If we're hiding in that corner for whatever reason, a firearm is like a weapon of distance, right? Do you think you'll be able to defend yourself if you're way in the opposite corner of the room? No, right? So being close, right to the plane of the door, as soon as they step in, that gives you the best chance of trying to defend yourself. So this is just like a little chart to show, you know, tacking starts. Of course, we said avoid, right? Finding the primary exits. If you can avoid, happy days, call 911. If we cannot, then we're reaching the stage of deny, right? So we're hitting the lights, locking the doors, barricading the doors, secondary exits, right? So the windows in this facility, if we can get out, boom, we avoided, call 911, all the information you have. And if not, worst case scenario, we gotta defend. And any means necessary, because at that point, when you're defending, you're basically, you're fight for your life right there, yeah. So there's no holding back, there's no fighting clean. So like, you know, polo shots, whatever, right? So we're doing hair pulling, nails, anything you can do, bite. Okay, so when police arrive, so when you get on scene, so like Officer Larissa mentioned, law enforcement's first job is to stop the killing. That's our first priority. We're not gonna render care or anything while there's still someone shooting on the site, yeah. So our first plan is stop the dying. And if, of course, we want to get the people, so you saw the people coming out, right? When the police are coming, they're saying, show me your hands, show me your hands. And we're evacuating the people that we can evacuate at that time. So once we're able to stop the killing, we render the scene safe, and we're accounted for, all the gunmen are accounted for. Now we're on to the medical stage. EMS is not gonna come onto scene until we render that scene safe. Because again, we're not gonna have them come on scene while they're still running around killing people. So at that point, we're gonna, get the help that people need. and we're gonna seek immediate responder training. So that's what Officer Lersa was talking about. If you don't know any first aid, general, primary first aid, whether it's, I'm sure you guys have access to tourniquets and all that here. Tourniquets, you guys know do you guys have chest seals or anything? That might be, I don't know if you guys just want to have like a supply on hand. So chest seals are for like gunshot wounds to like the torso area. Basically, we'll seal it shut so minimize the blood loss.
Oh, yeah.
Tourniquets are for like the limbs, right? And so the initial police contact, when police arrive on scene, follow all their commands, show your hands. If they tell you don't move, we're not gonna move. Just follow the directions as best you can. Of course, when the situation, if worst case scenario, if it does hit, tensions are gonna be high, you're gonna be very emotional, but just try to stay calm as much as you can and just follow the directions that you're given.
Okay, so crime scene. Okay, basically, after everything is calmed down, okay, just know that we still have a crime scene that goes on there. So do not leave the crime scene because we're gonna have to interview everybody as witnesses, right? We got witnesses must be identified and interviewed. So it may take hours sometimes. First of all, first priority is to make everything safe. Then we can start talking to witnesses to find out what's going on, right? So it will take time to process and clear. Consider an alternate work site. So just have a plan. So if this is going to be a crime scene and you guys have patients, just have a plan of what you guys are going to do, like a secondary. If you guys going to take the patients elsewhere, have a plan, yeah. And possible family reunification center. So basically that's like a designated area that you guys would have outside of the crime scene. Because I know once everything's going hot, family's gonna be calling you guys, trying to find out what's going on. We're gonna have family trying to come into the crime scene, and that's something we cannot have, yeah? So maybe have like a designated area where once the scene's processed, you're interviewed, you guys are released, that's when you guys can leave, and then we'll have a designated area for possible family reunification center. Okay, emergency, so things to think about. Okay, so how do you communicate the danger? Okay, procedures for reporting emergencies, evacuation procedures, emergency escape procedures and routes, assignments, chain of command, information of area hospitals, phone numbers and addresses. Yeah, so this is something that maybe you guys can put together like a folder or a binder or something, yeah. Have a plan, yeah, basically. Personal issues, expect mental trauma. Develop a critical incident stress management plan. So yeah, so expect mental trauma. Okay, everybody's gonna be going through all these different emotions. Once everything calms down, have a plan. So develop a critical incident stress management plan to see what is gonna go happen after this, right? Because after everything calms down, life is gonna go on. Okay, so have a plan of how you guys can adapt and continue work, continue life after the incident, yeah? That's it? Okay, so.
Okay, I just wanted to go over a couple of things, and you guys did a great job, and I just wanted to, because I want to go over more stuff that I want to ask you guys about, see what you guys think. Okay, so in the very beginning, Brother Man saw something happening, right? Did he take effective action?
He just ran.
He just ran. Is that effective?
To himself.
Effective anybody else?
No.
What could he have done?
Yeah, like shooter.
What else?
Somebody with
Including
a gun.
like
Call
people right there,
911.
boom, uppercut me, ping pong,
Yep.
kick it down.
Exactly. Could have Judy chop him, kick him in the head,
Right.
right? So
Someone
again,
have been not putting them together, so you had time for flush.
no, exactly. So, but the thing is, whatever you decide to do, you got to do full force.
Yeah.
Okay. I would rather kick this guy in the head and come to find out he was only putting a gun together or he was doing something else, then run quietly and know you left everyone else, right? So again, decisions you gotta make, yeah. Okay?
In an emergency situation though, some people process things
Exactly.
differently.
Exactly.
So,
And
like, my first reaction not gonna be, I'm gonna kick this rod in the head. That's not gonna be my first reaction. My first reaction is doing what that guy did, run. But I probably would yell, like, call 911, get this guy got whatever. But
good, no, and the thing is, when we do this presentation, we're trying to give you guys things to think about should something ever happen.
Yeah.
Because I cannot tell you what can happen when it happens. I cannot tell you what that guy gonna do. He might be taking out the gun to shoot himself in front of everybody.
Right.
Because maybe he just wanted his girlfriend or his wife to see him kill himself.
Yeah.
We don't know, okay? But again, we want you guys to think about it. This isn't just at home, I mean at work, it's also at home, yeah. You guys go to the movies, you guys heard about the Batman shooting years ago at the theater, right? They went to the movie theater, they started shooting the place up. So it's for something for you guys to think about. Okay, now over here, Linda, low man on the pole, right? The last one hired. Oh, let's go have her go check to see what's going on, right? So who's the lowest man on the pole here? You. Okay, so again, she went outside, like Officer Larissa said, that's the last person you want at the door, yeah? Because who's the only one that has information?
The person that.
Yeah, so you want her back, you guys want the weapon and something, fine. So she should be the one calling 911 with whatever information she has. Especially she can identify the guy, like who he is and stuff like that, okay? Like Officer Corey said, standing by the door, that's gonna be your 0.2 or 0.02 of a second that you can have an opportunity to save your life. Because once somebody comes in with a gun, normally they're coming in with a gun. And once they break that threshold, that's your opportunity to grab the gun and try to do something, and hurt the person some way. You're not gonna be able to stop this guy if you're in the corner. Okay. So this is the thing. And again, the person with the weapon should be the first guy at the door, not because he's a guy, and not because the sister was a girl that was gonna put it in the back. Because if brother man was the one that saw the stuff, he should be in the back calling too. Okay. So it's important that you guys think about that part. This one too, big thing is use whatever weapon. Okay. She was a little bit hysterical. This guy kind of kept his head, kind of had an idea, hey, we have the right to defend ourselves. Okay? This is very important. Because like Officer Larissa said, when we come in, we're looking for somebody with a gun. And just to give you guys an example, we did a scenario at Comic-Con Ali a couple years ago. We did a briefing with all the shop owners and stuff like that in the theater. We said we're going outside, we're going to do a scenario. Scenario is somebody going to be walking around one gun and be shooting people. Okay? We did the first scenario, everybody kind of panicked, nobody knew what to do. Okay, sat down, we talked about it. Did the scenario again. Somebody came in with the gun. 2 people rushed the guy with the gun, grabbed the gun. One guy grabbed the gun, and it took us about almost a minute to get that guy to calm down and give us the gun. And this is a scenario, he knew it was a scenario. But he was so in shock that he grabbed the gun that it took us a while to calm him down to get the gun back. So can you imagine the stress when this is actually happening and there's a real gun, okay? So if you grab that gun and you don't know what you're doing, and you walk around with the gun like that and cops are yelling at you, put the gun down, and I don't know what to do, we will shoot. Okay, so something to think about. If you're not comfortable with the gun, don't pick it up. Push it away, do whatever you gotta do. Detain that guy. If you got somebody where this guy's already detained, send somebody out. Hey, we got the guy, so that you let people know that you got it, okay? These are the things we want you guys to think about. This one, brother man was shot before his wife's anniversary. He heard the gunshot, he said, yo, if I get shot, fine, but I can't go without a gift. So you go make sure you go take a gift home, because at least if he dies, you're gonna have the gift. You say, I tried. Okay. But the important thing about this one is, what we've been told is scientifically, when something stressful happens, the reptilian part of our brain is going to first try to make sense of it. So when somebody starts shooting, the first thing you're going to try to think is, oh, it's fireworks. Somebody dropped something. We try to rationalize it, which is what they talk about rationalizing. It's going to cause delays. Yeah. So we're not saying every time somebody drops something, we jump and run, but think about it. Like Officer Larissa said, the fire alarm. How many times the fire alarm go on and we just like, you know? But if you're sitting there, you hear the fire alarm and you smell smoke, You hear fire engines, stuff like that, then we're gonna start reacting, right? So again, something to think about. Again, cops come in, follow commands. Like Officer Larissa said, please don't call our boss because we swore at you. A lot of times, stressful situation, we need to do stressful things to get people's attention. And it might include a lot of 4 letter words. All of this stuff is all stuff they talked about. But we don't recommend things for you guys to do to secure your building. But there's videos and stores all over the internet. You guys can look at stuff. The reason we don't recommend anything because if you try to use something and it doesn't work, you guys blame us. But again, like you said, you know, they actually have these ties that you can actually slip over this thing to stop this from opening as an emergency thing. Like Officer Corey said, a door stop, if the door opens in, if you put a door stop, the guy can't push the door in. The important thing to think about too is what we've seen with a lot of these active shooter and active threat events is their goal is a high body count. Very seldom do they go looking for any one person looking and go past people. Unless they'll really piss somebody off. And they're gonna walk past everybody just to look for him. You know, most times they're gonna actually just start shooting people all over the place. So when you lock a door, what you're doing is you're slowing them down, which means most times they're gonna move on because they wanna get a higher body count. They're not gonna take the time to try to pick the lock or figure out how they can break in, unless, again, they're looking for a particular person. Again, grabbing the gun. This stuff about the mental health stuff, that's something that management, you guys gotta think about that. But should there be, and they said, what are you guys gonna do? You know, honestly, if something like that were to happen here, the closest we'd probably set up, and I'm telling you this is the absolute closest, probably be Jack in the Box as a command center if we know everything's happening here. So you guys have to figure out where we're gonna meet farther than that. If you guys have a employee handbook that has everybody's information, that you know everybody who's at work, that's important because when everybody starts fleeing and we start going, you guys say, oh yeah, we got everybody, we accounted for everybody, but come to find out Mary is hiding in the kitchen and it's a Friday and nobody told her it's over, and then come Monday she's still hiding in the kitchen. You know, we want to know that you guys can get a hold of people. As well as if you actually able to get away and go home, jump in your car and leave, we want somebody to know that you left. Because we're going to keep searching till we're accounting for everybody at. So we need to know if people leave, you got to call. Maybe not call as soon as the shooting is going. Say, yeah, I'm on my way to the H3. You know, hope you guys are all right. But you know, let somebody know that you're okay. But yeah, this stuff is really important because it's the stress that you guys have to deal with after the fact. You can have a lot of people coming to work after knowing that something happened and stuff like that. The other big thing you guys have to think about because of the type of facility you are is who do we save? I mean, do we evacuate everybody that can walk and leave everybody that's bedridden? Or do we have ways to get people that are bedridden out and where you can take them? That's all things you guys have to think about. We cannot tell you guys what to do with that. Okay? And then again, develop a stress management, whether you guys have a psychologist that you guys plan on talking to that will come in should there be something that happens. The type of business you guys have, I'm sure you guys have people you guys already talk to when you guys lose somebody, naturally, but something to think about. The reason we put this on here is because this is one of the reasons that we tell people to show us your hands, even if you have your cell phone, drop your cell phone. Because some geniuses decided to make a gun that looks like a cell phone, okay? And the even more genius people made phone cases to make your cell phone look like a gun. Okay, so that's why we tell you drop everything in your hands. These are real guns. These are real guns. They make them to look like toys so that they can walk around with them, and hopefully if somebody doesn't recognize it, they don't get stopped because it looks like a toy. Okay. So again, that's why you guys hear, oh, the guy got shot, the cop shot him, and he had a cell phone in his hand, because we don't know. We don't know. And action is always faster than reaction. Again, all real toys, real guns and stuff like that. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
What is the average time frame that the active shooting is going on?
Depends. Because again, it depends on how far you are from resources. You know, unfortunately, there was the one in the mainland, the school, that the cops arrived, but they never went in. They landed up waiting outside, and things were still happening, and they never responded, so they were there on scene, but they never responded.
This is the Texas one, right?
I think so. I think so. But, you know, as far as I have confidence to believe that if anything happens, as soon as 2 officers arrive, they're going in. I'm not gonna come in by myself, because if something happened to me, nobody will know. So as soon as I have somebody else with me, we're going in, and then we'll start letting people know. Could be active, could be anywhere between 30 seconds, could be anywhere between 15, 20 minutes. Really depends on what his plan is and who it is. That's why it's important for you guys to know your coworkers as well, yeah. If you guys start seeing somebody acting a little bit different, you might want to start talking to them. Because the sad thing is a lot of times we do this presentation and who knows, I could be talking to the one that could be shooting up your place tomorrow. And she knows exactly. That's why before I used to teach people, put a fire alarm, get everybody out. But if you guys have a fire alarm and you have a fire plan, everybody says, okay, fire alarm, everybody go to the kitchen. Now she's gonna be, I go put a fire alarm, I'm gonna wait right outside the kitchen. So again, something to think about, yeah. Know your coworkers, know your employees, think about that kind of stuff. Because again, somebody may want to just come for one person, shoot that person, kill themselves. They may just go until somebody shoots them, or until they're stopped, they're confronted. So it's really hard to say. Yes, ma'am. Question?
Oh, no.
Anybody else? Anything at all?
Smart though to open a door, like how she opened the door to peek out once they heard.
Well, because she didn't know, right?
Yeah.
She didn't know, right? But the thing is, again, with that one, she locked the door, and did he see her? We don't know. If he saw her, he might try to get in. But now the door is locked. Again, if his goal is to get her, he's gonna spend time to get in. But if his goal is just to kill as many people as possible because Walmart wouldn't offer the blue light special, then he will just keep going, right? You know, so again, the denying part is something to buy time for the police to arrive, as well as to get this guy hopefully to start moving on to somewhere else. So.
How about police response time from when you call? A couple minutes, maybe?
Couple minutes, depending on where and when, you know, but, and what's reported. You know, the thing is, we always tell people, report what's actually happening. You know, I get people that tell me, oh, somebody's breaking into the house and they're stealing all this stuff and they got a gun and cracking somebody out. Then we go over there and it's 2 people having an argument. Oh, I just said that because I want you guys to hurry up. You know, so report what's honestly happening, because that's gonna draw the response and what kind of response you're gonna get. Once we know shots are fired, everybody's coming. And our area goes from Ever to Waianae. Everybody's coming. In this case, we probably gonna have guys from Pro City as well coming. So report what's happening, we just gonna send everybody as soon as we can. And everybody's gonna pretty much drop everything else they're doing to come. So hopefully within a couple minutes. So again, that's why you need to figure out what you're gonna do in those couple of minutes. So it's important to know your work area, know what you would do if something happens, how you can secure your area, what you would do should somebody come into your area, and how you can keep yourself safe. Anything else?
And when did they stop the, I remember it being run, hide, fight.
They stopped it a couple of years ago because people said, I don't know how to fight. So it's just that word made people think that, oh, I cannot fight, so I'm not gonna, so that's why we just said defend, yeah. Again, it's a mental thing, yeah. So everybody got attention deficit disorder.
I'll remember that part.
Yeah, but again, yeah, that's, from what we're told, that's why they changed it, because people were saying, I don't know how to fight, I never trained to fight. You don't have to, you just gotta know how to stab somebody. And know that you're gonna stab them because you're trying to stop the threat, yeah. And you gotta be ready to realize that you push a screwdriver to somebody's neck, you're gonna feel it. Yes?
I have a question. So, what would you recommend for a normal protocol, like as far as like, so for example, my department is the front admin office. Okay, so I have my receptionist, there's a big window. Let's say she sees someone coming like that, he starts unloading all his stuff, and then she sees a gun. What, can you kind of maybe go through some steps that they can follow, like if they were to see that?
If I were you.
Call 911.
Don't call 911. And let somebody, if somebody else is in there, let them know.
There's usually 2 in the front.
Because somebody should be letting everybody know. Somebody should be calling 911.
So the first thing should be call 911. Then the second one, according to our thing over there, Code yellow is a person exhibiting harmful behavior. So.
Okay, now let me ask you that. Now, if somebody said code yellow,
I don't know, that's why I.
okay,
have
no,
to
no,
look
that's
at
okay,
it.
so if somebody said code yellow, just as you guys as employees, are you guys gonna go walk because, oh, George down the hall is screaming at people? Or are you guys gonna run because you guys think there's a gun up there? So you might wanna change your codes if there's more, if there's something that's more serious.
Okay, so step one, call 911. Step two, try to alert everybody and maybe come up with different code words.
Do you guys have a PA system that goes throughout this?
We do, that's why it's.
Yeah, so
And
again, I would,
actually, our phone system.
They got in our office.
So there's two things. So we can, so we have a phone system that can page two different ways. We have an overhead system, so, and a phone. So we can make pages, so like for example, fire, okay? Her job is to alert, or the overhead, code red for fire, obviously, and then she also has to alert on the phone systems, so that way people who cannot hear the overhead will hear it on their phones. The speakers come out, there's a speaker on the phone. So, process 911, page everybody. I mean, should she be like closing, cause it's a big open window, should
yeah,
she
so
be
if
closing
you
the
have
blinds?
a way to close off, because again, you wanna avoid contact with you, right? So the first thing you wanna do is, I mean, obviously, if he walks up and he sees you there, you closing and not gonna, she disappeared, I don't care. You know, you can know somebody's there, right? But by closing it, he doesn't know what you're doing, or how many people are there, and you start doing what you gotta do, right? So, but yeah, if you can block it off, because again, you don't wanna be calling 911 while they're staring at you or something like that. So, yeah, so of course, if you can close it off, then do that. Lock the door if you can. Close off that part, try to secure yourself in there. Because, I mean, you're not gonna come through the window, right? You may shoot out the window, I don't know.
No, but, I mean, one of the things is to close up, turn off the lights, so if she can close her blinds, turn off the lights, do all of that
Make
stuff.
yourself look at this.
Yeah.
Gagawin ko, pupunta muna ako dun sa likod, hindi ako nakikita. Then I will notify everyone.
Right.
Hindi yung nakatingin ka sa window.
Yeah.
Why, yeah. So
Yeah, and again, that's why this training is important, because it's not to tell you what to do, it's to get something in your mind to think, I may have to do something. Because, you know, one thing that we talk about, we tell people is once something like this happens, the first thing you gotta do is understand it's happening. You cannot try to rationalize it. Hey, there's a shooter going on, what do I need to do to keep myself safe? And just deal with that part. Because once you accept the reality of your situation, then most people will start to try to solve the problem or work the problem. But if you're there trying to figure, okay, well, this guy's got a gun, 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 and you're not accepting that part, you're not gonna get anything done.
So I think the next step would be obviously for others who hear that page going off, what should their next steps be?
Deny. Or avoid, I'm sorry, avoid. So if you hear, like I said, with us, we have a certain code for something. And if we give that code, everybody should know that that's an active threat. It's not a patient acting up. You know, so you say code yellow is something that you guys use on a daily basis because just some irate patient, you don't wanna use that. Because again, it would, you know, that's.
Code gray is the active shooter.
Yes.
Yeah, code
So
gray.
it's not, so it's not, so it's not on it, I don't have that on there, so
Because I knew there was one, so it's code gray.
code gray.
Okay, so what you gotta do is you gotta figure out who made the cards and who decided they're not caring about cutting through the neighborhood. 'Cause somebody.
Nobody gave me any today. I never even have that card.
So if you hear code gray, that's active shooter.
Yeah, so I think maybe we gotta review
Yeah.
the codes, the cards or whatever,
But I think the glory of our building, especially in your office, is that our doors are already all locked. You know, like to get into the main part of the building. So
Right.
like for Brooklyn, you know, you get out of that portion, lock the door that goes into your guys' area, and then go call 911 from there, you know? Yeah, cause.
No, so where Brooklyn is obviously to get into the admin, it's a punch code. You have to have the code to get into the main thing, and then they have another locked door. So
Yeah.
it might be safer for her, I mean, obviously until all of that stuff is done.
Yeah.
You might wanna lock that door, you know, just.
Yeah, I would get out of that area and lock the
I'd
door.
get out of there,
Yeah.
cause there's windows all around.
Yeah, that's why he said to duck. So do you have like a desk there?
There
Maybe go
is, she could
underneath.
go under the desk, I don't know, that's fine.
I would go by the mail sheet.
I don't know, maybe.
That's
I don't know if
my-
you guys have
that's what I
a little
would
bit more time, if you guys can come check out that front area. And kind of get
But
You got
the
that
part
covered
about
over
it
there,
all
over
is
there.
because every single door that we have has glass windows. So even though we have locks on our doors,
Yeah,
just one punch through the glass and then they're gonna open up from the inside.
that's what I'm saying, like,
But the thing about it is,
Yeah, so again, all we can do is slow him down in certain situations. But again, if you're in the front, if you can get below, start doing what you gotta do. And, 'cause I mean, the window's not that big, right? Where you are? Okay. And how solid is that glass?
it's not.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a safer area to get to, then of course. And I will tell you guys a hint. If somebody calls 911 and hangs up, we send somebody anyway. So if somebody gets that call,
That's what happened with my cousin.
you know, if you see that and you call 911, all of a sudden you can't talk, and then somebody else is calling because they got the code and they're calling, and then now all of a sudden we're gonna know something's going on if we're getting all these calls from one area, 911, people not answering, not talking. So the most important thing is try to get on 911 as soon as possible. And even if you're calling and leaving your phone on, if you gotta get away from your phone, if you cannot talk to your phone. But notification and letting people know what's happening is the biggest thing, is let people know. And again, do what you gotta do, and you know, to some degree, you may wanna try to practice it, so that people, you know, I mean, going from eating lunch to jumping up and locking doors if the doors aren't already locked. Closing
that's a
drinks.
bad timing on their behalf, because you never even ruin somebody's lunch. You're pissed off.
But yeah, so if you guys have a code already, then again, the important thing is everybody knows the code. That's the main thing. And then everybody reacts appropriately to that. And that code's only used for an active threat. Again, active threat is not just a gun, yeah. Somebody coming in with a knife or with a bat, that should be considered an active threat, yes. Yeah. So, you know, brings up a very good point. Because the thing is too, when you start closing all these windows and locking it all off, if somebody starts knocking on the door, what are you gonna do? If it's a patient, are you gonna take a chance and open the door? Are you gonna just leave the person out there? Because it's one thing we tell, when we go to the schools, we tell them that's something you gotta think about. Because you may have a student that went to the bathroom, and this all happened, and now somebody's knocking on your door. Are you gonna take a chance and open the door and risk everybody's life inside? Or are you gonna open the door hoping that it's a kid, you can let him in? That's a decision you guys gotta make. So it's something to think about.
Sorry, you're on your own.
Anything at all.
Just go, don't think about yourself.
Yeah, again, like I said, think about this stuff, not just, I mean, when you guys go to a restaurant, you know, we've had shootings at restaurants. You know, people didn't know that most restaurants, there's an exit in the kitchen. So if you know where the kitchen is, you don't have to run out the front door. You know, look at your exits. You go to a movie theater, look at where your exits are, all this kind of stuff. So just be aware of yourself. Again, we're not trying to make you paranoid for everything that happens, but if you get in the habit of just looking around and being aware of things, you know, because as police officers, we kind of get conditioned when we go someplace, we don't want to sit facing our back to a door. We want to be able to see the door. So again, it's something that you guys have to start thinking about and preparing yourself for. Talk to your family about it too. Because if something happens, the last thing you want is your kid trying to ask you for an explanation of why you're telling them to get under the table or stuff like that. And again, you guys have patients you guys got to deal with, and you got to make those calls based on if they're up to date on their rent and stuff like that.
Any tip on, like, I know guns, like bullets can go through walls and stuff. Any tips as far as like when you're on the other side, what to do, like that will kind of help prevent you from getting hit on the other side of the wall?
Because the thing is too, bullets tend to ricochet too, yeah. So I can shoot through the wall over here and hit somebody over there. Because you never know where the bullet's gonna go at. So, I mean, the best thing is to get away from windows, get away from doors, except if you think somebody's gonna, you know, again, if that's your hiding spot, you're trying to protect yourself that way. You know, I don't wanna say people in active threat situations don't shoot through doors. But for the most part, they're not, you know, kind of movie action, yeah? Oh, let me just go blast the whole wall and get everybody out. You know, most times they want to see who they're shooting and stuff like that.
What if it's a glass door and they're gonna try to shoot and they see you running?
They may. Don't run in a straight line. Oh yeah, don't run in a circle. Because you can come to the same spot.
Oh, the disabled person.
Yeah. And then go left, go right. Counterclockwise, clockwise. But yeah, again, it's one of those things that you just have to, I want to say use common sense, you know, because I don't want to hide. You know, but you know, it's just again, we just want you guys to think about those things, and those are good that you're asking us because that's the things you got to think about. Should something happen, where am I going to go? Do I flip all the tables over so that I can hide behind 7 tables versus 1? You know.
And then adrenaline is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we did one presentation at the Honolulu Advertiser building. We did one over there, and they knew we were having a scenario. We were doing the scenario. We just did a briefing. As soon as we started, the lady peed her pants, and she knew it was a scenario. Just because people, just the fact that it's happening, people. So if you can imagine something actually happening in real life, what's going to happen to people. So again, we just want you to start thinking and preparing yourself. Should something happen, it's not the first time you ever thought about it. And that's what these presentations are for, because there's no way I can tell you exactly what to do, because we don't know what they're going to do.
It's really sad. Like my daughter, whenever we go out to places, the first thing she always tells me is, "Mommy, if there's a shooter here, I would hide over there." And she'll point out where she's been, because the kids have been taught this at school, and it's so scary. And she's always said, "It's so sad that I have to learn this."
It is, but don't tell her you would take that spot, so she got to find something else.
I know. I was gonna go over there, so she knows where she's gonna hide when there's a shooter, and she
You
knows.
smaller, you go over there.
And she knows where to look for the AEDs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what we've taught her.
Yeah.
So that's things we always gotta think about too. Is, you know, look for the AEDs and know where you're gonna hide.
Yeah. And again, like Officer Larissa was saying, you know, the first aid stuff, you know, what is the best thing you can do if somebody gets shot? Anyway,
Apply pressure.
apply pressure. Basic first aid stuff. Stop the bleeding. You know, that kind of stuff. And that's going to hopefully prolong their life long enough to can get them help and stuff like that. So knowing that kind of stuff is what's important too. That'll help you guys save each other, help you save yourselves. Anybody else? Anything at all? Okay, I know we're almost done, but I always like to end my presentations giving you guys an opportunity to ask a policeman anything you ever wanted to ask, but we're ready to ask. Anything at all, except, do I like donuts? Because the answer is yes. And if I ever shot anybody, because the answer is no. Anything else you ever wanted
What
to ask?
kind of donuts do you like?
Please. And I'll be here tomorrow. What time you start? I'll expect some tomorrow. Better yet, if you're off tomorrow, you can deliver tomorrow. Anything else? Anything at all?
I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Jenna, you
Real
first.
quick, is there a traffic code that you guys have to meet?
Yeah, you all think it's
Yes,
sick.
and if I get one more ticket today, I get a toaster. So anybody want to speed, I can win a toaster. No, we don't have a quota. We do have what we call performance standards. Like as a solo, think about it, as a solo bike officer, their job is to do traffic enforcement. If you're riding a motorcycle for 8 hours a day, there's no way you're gonna not stop somebody for something. So, and no, it's not, oh, the end of the month we're doing more, because we don't get any money for that. We don't get any money for the traffic
Well,
safety.
the rumors are bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Sir.
What's the best excuse to not get us?
I mean, like,
Because-
you can follow me home and give me a
Because
ticket. Just let me go.
we've had officers, me included, that say, okay, fine, I'll follow you home, and come back outside with you.
See?
Never mind. You know, honestly, it's not an excuse. The best thing you can do is just be respectful. Apologize, and you know, the last thing I tell people that you should say is when a policeman comes to your door, they say, what are you stopping me for? You know, and I tell everybody else too that, you know, when you get stopped for a citation, whether you agree with it or not, you have an opportunity to fight it. You know, you don't have the opportunity or the right to fight with the officer there, because it's not, trust me, the meaner you are to me doesn't mean, okay, you won that argument, I'll let you go. Because the longer I stay there, the more I'm gonna find to cite you for.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, you get an open bottle over there, oh, your child never have seatbelt, and apologize, and see how it goes. And when you get a ticket, you have the opportunity to write a letter to the judge, see what the judge says. If he denies it, you then have an opportunity to go to court. But, yes ma'am, you had a question?
I have two, sorry.
No?
What is the limit over speed limit before you guys?
Let me put it to you this way. That's a good one. Okay, let me put it this way. If I'm hitting you with my baton, do you want me to slow down or stop?
Stop.
So if the limit is none, should I still hit you 5 times?
What? Say it again.
If the limit is none,
should
I still hit you 5 times?
No.
Speed limit is speed limit.
So
I will tell you,
slow.
the thing is,
If you're over 20, you're gonna
what people believe and what has happened in the past is that if the speed limit is say 45, and people are going 55, a lot of times the police officer may not cite you for that or stop you for it, because a lot of times if you do get a citation, you go to court, they'll plead it down and let it go there. But the speed limit is the speed limit.
Yes.
There's no such thing as, it says 55, so I can go 65.
Yeah, no, because they
the flow of traffic.
because they said you can, but as long as we didn't can.
Well, like I said, it's because, honestly, it's because most policemen won't stop you for going.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, when you're speeding, there's a certain amount that you get fined for the speed itself, and then so much per speed over.
Yeah.
In a school zone, it's $300 something just for 1 mile over the speed limit.
Wow.
And a construction site as well.
Yeah.
So, again, speed limit is a speed limit. What's your second question?
Second question. I noticed some of the cops, when they drive in the street, some of their lights are off, some are on. So what does that mean?
One didn't turn them on and one didn't. The idea about the light being, you're talking about just the blue light on, right? Not flashing.
Yeah.
The idea and the psychology behind the blue light being on is that people tend to think there's more policemen when the light is on. Because people see the light all over the place. Versus when it's off. Because when it's off, you don't know that there's a policeman there.
Yes.
So the department's thing is we want people's lights on because when you're driving around, it looks like there's more policemen all over the place. So people tend to maybe behave better because they think there's a policeman everywhere.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. We're not taxis, so it doesn't mean I cannot stop you because I never have my light on.
Okay.
You can still get a
got
ticket.
it. Okay.
I have a fight with my husband on this one. If you guys are responding to an emergency, are you required to still go to speed limit?
No.
That's what I told him.
How about turning signals? Because I see that all the time.
What, policemen?
Yeah, changing lanes and they don't have their turn signals on. I'm like, hello, you guys are supposed to be like the representation of the law, but then I don't see you guys putting your.
It's a man. They don't use their signal light because my husband does it.
Let me ask you, how many times have you got pulled over for not using your blinker?
Well, never. But then isn't it? Oh,
I use my blinker.
Yeah, but aren't you you're supposed to put your blinker on, right, to change your lanes? I mean, I always put my blinker on, but I'm just saying.
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
By law. All I can say is that most policemen are not hypocrites. So I may not give you a ticket for not putting your blinker on if I'm one that doesn't turn mine on. So.
That is true.
But yeah, you're supposed to signify. Even with our blue lights, with the flashing blue lights and stuff, some policemen are speeding somewhere and people say, oh look, he's speeding and he didn't know his blue lights on. It's because you guys drive like idiots with my lights on. Yeah, exactly. I've had people, when I turn my blue lights, people just slam on their brakes. So a lot of times if we gotta go somewhere, we're gonna go somewhere as fast as we can. without trying to disturb everyone else, unless we have to go through an intersection or get around people and stuff like that. And policemen do not turn on their lights just to get past the red light. Just so you know. A lot of times, because a lot of times what happens is if we're going somewhere, like say I'm at a stoplight, and Corey calls because there's a fight somewhere. I may turn on my light to get through to start going there, but as soon as I go through, he calls off and says, I got them under control. I'm not gonna keep going with my blue light, I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm still gonna go, but I'm not gonna have my blue lights on the whole time because you guys drive like me. No, but again, so there's reasons for certain things. And don't just assume that policemen do that, because whenever we turn on our blue light, we are responsible for whatever happens. So even if you turn into me and slam into me, they look at me as the cause of the accident, because I turned on my blue light. So policemen aren't doing it just because once their lights are activated, we tend to become more responsible for what happens. So that's why we don't always do it. But yes, sometimes we speed to things because we gotta go somewhere, but we don't turn on our blue lights because it may not warrant lights and sirens, but it's an emergency enough that we have to get there. Anybody else? Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Just piggybacking off of her speed thing. But if you're going 15 miles over the speed limit, doesn't it jump you into another category? Because I swear, like years ago, they changed that. Like if you're 15 miles over the speed limit.
The change is if you're going 30 miles over the speed limit or over 80. You can be arrested. Yeah.
Over
So,
80 miles.
80 miles per hour.
Okay.
So when we do our traffic citations, we have one citation that goes up to 29 miles an hour, 30. If you're going faster than that, I use another tag which means you actually gotta go to court. There's one citation you can pay the fine, the other ones you actually gotta go to court, because it's a criminal citation. You can be arrested for that, just as much as you can be arrested for going 80 miles over the speed limit. I mean, yeah, over 80 miles an hour. Over 80 miles an hour. Yeah.
How about those drivers that go under?
Well, again, the speed limit, unless there's a minimum, at certain places, I think, yes, very few, but yeah, for the most part, there's not, I mean, unless they're causing they're going 25 on the freeway, then sometimes they're probably drunk. But, so we'll check our medical condition, we'll stop if we get a call and complaint. And believe it or not, when you guys drive crazy, people do call 911. And they do give us their license plate number and say, hey, this car, license plate number, they're driving over here, and then we send officers to go and check. So, don't think that just because you don't see a policeman that you can get away with it. No. Sir?
Okay, one last one. Is it still true in Waikiki if you're across the street and it's your light and somebody runs that cross, can you call 911, let them know the time and the street, and you're able to give that guy a ticket?
If they're driving?
Let's say I'm crossing the sidewalk, and the light is for me to cross, but then the car still goes right through the crosswalk.
It's very difficult for an officer to issue a citation if they don't see the violation. Because we have to go to court and we have to testify to why we're giving the citation. But there's been times when we got the call and we go and find out who the person is and we go and try to educate them. But yeah, I can't give somebody a citation because you said they went through the light. Because you're not the one going to court.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. When can you guys get regular cars, like foreigners?
Depends.
Use your own car.
It depends.
She said forerunner, that's the most common thing.
Get the shit out of me behind me, like, oh.
The way that it basically works is after you've been in the department for so long, based on your class, it gets to a point where they start, when new recruits come in, they have like a number that they use that, we only have so many blue and whites. So we allow people to buy their own cars. So Corey's supposed to be a motor, but he decided not to because he likes driving the blue and white more than his own car, so. But so it's like a certain time period. So don't think that just because somebody's driving a blue and white that they're a rookie, because you got guys that's driving blue and white that have been policemen for like 11 years.
Okay.
So it took me like, I think 9 to finally get a job. What do you think?
A cyber truck.
Why is it for runners though?
The Toyotas, for the type of driving that we do, the Toyotas have the best transmission and ignition. The turning off and on, starting it off, so they have the best, they have the best.
And that's Motor
engine.
Trend, said that?
Yeah, well, that and just experience, and then, Servco actually gives us a pretty decent rate on the cars because they just charge like slightly above the dealer costs. So you don't, when you go in there, you don't have to go and try to fight for a price.
Is that your personal car though, or?
We get paid by the city, we get a subsidy.
Okay.
So it's to pay for the car itself, other than liability insurance for full coverage insurance and as well as maintenance. So we have to pay that. The only thing we get is, we get like a gallon of gas for every 12 miles we drive on duty. So, but yeah, so we have to, when the tires go
That's why
bad,
he's
we gotta,
6'7" there.
yeah, so when we gotta, change tires, we gotta pay for the tires, oil changes, that kind of stuff, so.
How come
This-
in the mainland, they have trucks, right? Police officers have trucks. How come you guys don't have trucks?
I will give you the chief's phone number. You call him and ask him. So we have like department fleet type trucks that we use. We're trying to get them to allow us to use them as motor vehicles. I think Maui and Big Island, they allow them. Our chieftain just haven't, I think they're thinking about like the Colorado, I think, right? F-150, one of them, they're looking at, because the thing is, with what we're doing, they're trying to get a car that's balanced and safety-wise, yeah, so. But that's the idea, that's their excuse anyway.
You guys drive Camaro too, yeah?
Not anymore.
Oh.
The Camaros, they stopped because the Camaros used to have a door frame over the window. And then now there's no window frame over it, so when we put the light bar on, it can crack the glass. So the Camaros are not approved anymore. And then they only approve cars with, because you gotta, I think now it's 12 years, yeah? You can drive a motor vehicle, a motor car that's no more than 12 years old from when it was first sold. So you have to buy a new car if it gets older than that. Or if it just looks like crap, then they make you buy a new car.
You know, when you just like cruising in back of a car, like you're probably just doing your business, whatever. Are you automatically like checking the license plate, doing all that kind of stuff?
When they see you, yeah.
Not automatically.
Like what would be like if you swerving? Let me just. So you guys get your computer right over here, so.
Yeah, like, if you look at the tax and safety and stuff like that, because a lot of times if your tax and safety is expired, there's a pretty good chance you don't have insurance. So that's the biggest thing. So I used to pull people over for that because I believe they have insurance. If they had insurance, I'm gonna just give them a warning. But of course, if you get, COVID tags, 2021 and you're driving, you might get a couple of tickets. But yeah, I mean, I other than that, it's depends on what you look like. No. Again, just if you look like you're doing something kind of shady, or if I rolled on my window and smelled marijuana in front of me, I might check, but it depends. Every officer has a different thing that they kind of look for and stuff like that.
Okay, grade 4 under, I know it.
I'll make it easier for you. Mine has the red emblems.
It has red emblem.
Yeah. I'll make it easy for you. So you see me and I give you a ticket, you kind of say you never know. Unless I get my glazed donuts. Yeah,
What
chocolate
does your
glaze.
chief like?
And if you go in Dunkin', get the chocolate filled one. If you go in Safeway, the glaze is okay. $5 Friday.
You're really from Couple Lake.
Anything else? Anything at all? Well, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Love you guys.